This is the XRP 1-month overview reading for the month of February 2024. It's currently December 26, 2023, 8:08 p.m. Eastern Time. XRP at the time of this reading is currently 0.62056, or just over 62 cents USD. And the shuffle file that we're about to play for you was created on December 5th, 2023 at 3:48 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this video here in the corner. The overall theme and behavior for XRP throughout the month of February is very mixed. Like many of the February readings, we go back and forth between highs and lows. Overall, I think this is going to end up near lows for the month. We have three pokes through the same price level, or trend line, I should say, followed by a sharp drop off of the third poke. And that's like the overall trend and chart behavior for the month. It's crossed with bumping along resistance sideways, so kind of like the similar energy. Maybe breaking through at some point. It could be like an upward going trend line at that point based on the combination of these two. Either way, there'll be like three pokes through that trend line, whatever direction it goes, followed by a sharp drop off of that third poke, taking us into what looks to be lows towards the end of the month. Behavior around the highest high or highs for the month. We have a prominent move higher on a multi-day scale, or on a chart with daily candlesticks, or 1 day candlesticks, in other words. So we have a prominent move higher, and then a breakthrough key resistance, and then that's followed by shortly thereafter by a full retracement of the move higher back down through that same price level, making like a capital A pattern in the English language if the price level was like the horizontal line. Behavior around the lower lows for the month. We have out of a decline, a big move from the bottom of a range all the way to the top of a range, and that's again on a multi-day scale. Before we go any further, I want to make sure everybody's aware the whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. We do that by following the rule of karma for the channel, which is the unwritten agreement between the universe and anybody utilizing this information for profit. What you must do is follow through on this rule in order to continue profiting. The universe expects you to take 5% of all profits that you make from this information and donate it forward to one of the charities here on this resources tab, or to some other charity that you see fit. Just make sure you do it. And then 5% of the profit should be donated back to the channel here. One of these links that helps support the channel. It's a way to say thank you. It leaves you at 90%. Make sure to spend that money out of love. As long as you follow those rules, you follow the rule of karma for the channel. The universe considers you an angel investor. It's going to send it back to you tenfold for following through on that. Blessings to all my angel investors. Okay, so when reading a 1-month reading, what you must understand is that the timing, very often the timing will be right on point as far as the day of the month where we see a high or a low, but there will be cases, especially with something that's got like less than $1 value and lots of volatility back and forth like XRP, there might be cases where we're plus or minus a day or maybe even two in some cases. I consider that a really bad reading. Happens rarely, but it does happen occasionally. In any case, you want to follow the sequence of events because not each card's energy is going to line up perfectly with 1 day of time. And each card represents about 1 day of time, but not each card's energy will line up perfectly with that 24-hour period. So make sure to follow the sequence of events whenever the timing seems to be off a little. So here on the first, we have an important range that's highlighted on a multi-day scale. My sense is that this is going to act as our first lowest low for the month here between the first and second. I'm leaning towards the first, and then we have like this prominent move out of that low, standing out on a multi-day scale there on the second, but it's followed by a full retracement back down. So we see that low there either on the first or the second, or maybe both. A period of volatility on the third, and a sharp drop that stands out in that period of volatility. A big move higher on the fourth, breaking through resistance, creating a new local high or a new high of some kind that'll stand out on a multi-day scale, followed by a breakdown through that same price level shortly thereafter. It seems to be a trough towards the afternoon session on the fourth, and a big move to the upside out of it. I think the high there, that new high that I'm talking about, is probably on the cusp of the fourth, fifth, and we have a decline back down on the fifth, back to a trough, and that's most likely the same price level, or the same low, or I should say that's another prominent low on a multi-day scale. Now, out of that trough on the fifth, we have a sideways fluctuating rally, which turns into more price swinging, and in the midst of that price swinging towards the end of the day on the sixth, or early in the day on the seventh, we have another prominent high that stands out, and then sideways rotation on the seventh, and a sharp drop in that period of sideways rotation, most likely revisiting a support level on a multi-day scale that was recently a past opportunity. And then there's this big move to the upside into a peak or crest towards the beginning of the day on the 8th. We'll be reaching for distant resistance. Might even see the high again, but it'll be a prominent high there. And then it looks like we decline from that early high into a trough on the cusp of the 8th, 9th. We'll decline through multiple support levels, decline to and through support to meet another support on the 8th, and then bounce around along that support sideways before breaking down through multiple supports into a trough there on the cusp of the 8th, 9th. And then we have a rally on the 9th into another prominent peak or crest around the 10th and or 11th. Rally on the 10th, the rally into the 10th ends on the 10th. And then another prominent move higher on the 11th, also either ending on that rally ending on the 11th or the following day on the 12th. There's a notable fake out, shakeout of some kind on the 12th that we'll release that on like a multi-day scale. The chart behavior there on the 12th will really, like, it'll be sneaky. It might be that it looks like we're going to break through our lows, but instead we turn around and we probably see another prominent peak or crest there. On the 13th, we're at an overbought peak or crest that we sell off from through multiple support levels into price swings on the 14th. Oh, and guys, as far as trade opportunities, we have some notable trade opportunities on the 4th, 5th, again on the 9th, 10th, 11th, and here on the 15th. We'll talk about those in more detail, what to look for as far as entry and exit chart behavior in the paid version. But before we go any further, let's take a look at December and see how we're doing thus far. So I have a low on the first, second. I also have a high there on the first, and then another high on the second, so that's pretty solid. And then we go into a higher high on the 7th. That's pretty solid. Looks like I have another prominent high on the 8th, but as far as their placement, I expected the 7th to be higher than the 8th. It was vice versa, so there's a little bit off there. The 9th was a decline that did offer opportunity to open up a long position before another move to the upside or another high there. That's the abundance card there on the 9th. And then we go into lows again. Looks like I missed that one, but that was Princess of Discs energy for sure. And then there was the Magus energy on the 15th, Unicursal energy on the 16th before a notable reversal to the downside into the 18th, 20th. We have a trough there. We have a lowest low there on the 20th, so we nailed that. And we actually have one on the 22nd as well. It looks like it ended up being on the 18th, 19th, 20th. We have the 20th and the 22nd, so we're a little bit off, but we nailed one of those pretty notably. And then we have another highest high here on the 26th, 27th. Ends up not being a highest high. It is a very significant high, but not a highest high. So this isn't my best accuracy. It's not my worst, but it's definitely not my best by any means. I expect slightly better. But with XRP is definitely one of the more difficult ones to get right to the day because it's got such small increments of price. So this is pretty solid, especially considering the December XRP reading was created on October 8th, 2023. All right, so those price swings on the 14th turn into a notable decline on the 15th, increasing with momentum moving forward in time, taking us into a prominent trough again on a 1 month or on a multi-day scale there on the cusp of the 15th, 16th. And then we have a rally that increases with momentum moving forward in time throughout the day on the 16th, taking us into a prominent peak or crest on the cusp of the 16th, 17th at an important resistance level where we flatten out. Trade opportunity at where we flatten out. I'll talk about that in more detail in the paid version. In the paid version, you get the best trades that we see. You get what type of chart behavior to look for as far as entry and exit for those trades. You get the overall performance compared to Bitcoin throughout the same period of February 2024. You get the timing of the highest high and lowest low, not just the prominent highs and lows, where the highest of them is and where the lowest of them is. You also get any price level information that we can extrapolate. And then on top of that, you also get any trades that are relevant from a multi-day or a multi-month or a multi-year standpoint. All in the paid version. Great way to give back to the channel and support the channel. We definitely need your support. And the people that go ahead and subscribe to the paid version of our monthlies are really the core foundation of support for the channel. You do that here, our services tab, SO Meta Posts. Scroll down the monthly subscription, click here to order, and then you want to click on XRP. If you're interested in the paid version of more than one of these stickers, you could always subscribe to the 30 days access to all paid, and you get access to all of these stickers, plus stickers like Amazon, Google, and Video, which you can only get with the all paid version. Again, we know the names of everybody that goes ahead and supports the channel like this because you guys are the core foundation of support for the channel. So thanks to all my supporters, and let's get back into it. All right, so on the 17th, we have like this dip from like this peak or crest, that resistance where we flatten out around the early part of the 17th. We have like this dip into a trough early in the day on the 18th. And then this big move to the upside out of that trough on the 19th, taking us back from a prominent trough to a prominent peak on the cusp of the 18th, 19th. Off of that prominent peak, probably early in the day on the 19th, there's a significant decline, maybe one of the sharper ones that we should see for the month. And then there's a bit of a rally between the 19th and into the 20th, from which that rally is halted by a sharp decline through key support on a multi-day scale, taking us into support there between the 20th and the 21st, where we rotate sideways. And then there's further decline on the 22nd through multiple supports. Decline continues further on into the 23rd, where we see another prominent trough for the month. We attempt to establish support on the 24th. Look out for a sharp drop on the cusp of the 23rd, 24th. And then there's a notable reversal on the 25th, probably another prominent trough there. Oh, there's also a prominent peak on the 24th, another prominent trough on the 25th, 26th. And then this prominent move higher on the 27th, or out of the 26th into the 27th, followed by where we see a prominent peak, and then a full retracement that move back down to establish support with sideways rotation somewhere around the end of the 27th or into the 28th. That sideways rotation probably takes us into a low for another prominent trough for the month, and then there's this fast sudden move higher out of that prominent trough. The sneak preview for March, we have sideways rotation that ends with a fast sudden move higher, marking the end of that sideways rotation. And that's XRP for February 2024, my friends. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. As always, make sure to follow that rule of karma. You know where to go. You know what to do. Blessings to all my angel investors. Stay tuned if you got the paid version.